the prophetic dream that shocked the scientific community. For years and years now, people since ancient times have been trying to find out the source and the cause of dreams, the images of those that make us in our sleep anxious and feel otherworldly, feelings of happiness just at the time when all our senses have fallen asleep. Modern psychologists, followers of Sigmund Freud, argue that dreams reveal all our subconscious, all our hidden hopes and desires, and all our unacknowledged fears. We must, however, admit that many of the phenomena of the vast world of dreams are impossible, for the moment, to be explained by the means that science provides us today. How is it possible to interpret that dream, which psychologists call a premonitional dream? A prophetic dream. A man sees in his dream two men who are ready to duel, drawing their pistols. At his side he can see the witnesses of the duel. He follows through the images, more or less confused, the various formalities which precede the moment when the order of fire will be given. And he sees the man aiming. He hears the gunshots. He wakes up in a chair and upset. He immediately realizes that the gunshots he heard so clearly in his dream were nothing more than the bangs that suddenly erupted outside in the streets. But by what unknown and terrifying law was it possible to identify the scene of the anguished dream with the scene of reality, which was simultaneously unfolding outside in the street? Does this whole vision prove the existence of an occult premonition and its mysterious connection with a future event which is about to materialize? Could it be again, in the above-mentioned example, that the dreamer had a premonition of the impending noises, and his imagination created at bedtime in his subconscious mind this whole scene of the duel? There are not a few cases where in a dream one sees images and situations which are realized later in a truly prophetic way. There are officially confirmed visions during sleep, which were verified in the smallest and most insignificant detail. The great French scientist and researcher Camille Flammarion, who had revealed the important role played by the subconscious in our dreams decades before Freud, had collected and recorded tens of thousands of dreams, among which were dreams of famous men, and of these dreams a third had come true in a most amazing way. In Camille Flammarion's archives there was, among other things, the following dream of a Sorbonne student, which the young man himself had told him. Quote, "I saw that I was on a ship traveling in the South Seas. It was unbearably hot and I felt very thirsty. I anxiously searched for a jug of water. Through the porthole of the cabin, I happened to see a man bent over the table filled with stacks of papers. When I saw the features of his face, I was startled, but I could not determine why. I thought, I know this man somewhere. I said to myself, but this is the famous French journalist Albert Londres. Perhaps he is recording his impressions from the trip," end quote. And then I entered the cabin. Albert Londres looked at me with a pleading look, as if to tell me not to disturb him at his work with my presence. So I immediately closed the door carefully and walked away. Suddenly a terrible panic arose aship. Thick smoke and flames sprang from all parts of the ship. I, however, had the impression that I was watching as a spectator from afar and safely this terrible spectacle. All the travelers were running like mad for safety in the boats, while the ship had turned into a huge firework. "Where was Albert Londres?" I shouted in a moment of rage. From the boats, which were full of agitation, disoriented castaways, no answer was given to me. The Sorbonne student who saw this dream at first thought it was a cunning figment of his imagination. Indeed, he did not remember knowing any journalist by that name, and after all, the young student happened to see this paradoxical and, alas, prophetic dream on November 1st, 1884, the day the French journalist was born. In short, he dreamed of the death of a man which would take place a whole 47 years later, in 1932. The tragic end of this great journalist, who carved a unique path in French journalism and who saw people and things with a groundbreaking radical look, was exactly what the young student had so macabrely and prophetically dreamed of in the distant 1884. Albert Londres, while from China to his homeland on the French ocean liner Georges Philippard, lost his life during a terrible fire that broke out on the ship and completely destroyed it while sailing in the Red Sea. This incredible accident happened May 16, 1932. The Sorbonne student's dream seen on the night of the birth of the man, to whom the dream so prophetically referred and confirmed in every chilling detail 47 years later, is regarded as one of the most shocking prophetic dreams ever recorded in the world's history in scientific journals. The French ocean liner Georges Philippard sank after a fire May 16, 1932. And the news was published on the Greek paper Vrathini on March 17, 1934. Isn't that astonishing? A young student of the Sorbonne University of Paris in France had this dream on the day that Londres was born concerning his death. Can you imagine? And this I've translated for a Greek article. Please hit the like button and share, and thank you for your comments and support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.